Entertainment. We here. You know where you're from. Jamaica, Queens. This is how we rock. Yo, it's been a long time since I rocked the mic. Now I'm back making tracks like a ninja bite. I've been upstate, got big, so the girls call me a yes, being girls like an open book. Oh, King Rabbit, get out and push, you know, getting whole sex to make my girlie touch. Belizean waters, my order, transporter, new world order, sons and daughters. I got a new rider, it's like a gold rush when the vibes bust. I got a new rider, it's like a gold rush when the vibes bust. I got a new rider, it's like a gold rush when the vibes bust. I got a new rider, it's like a gold rush when the vibes bust. The woman from Queens, you know what I mean. Kokomo and Dennis, we know 119. Across the street is my man, getaway car G. She had a thing for Hot Wheels, hot brakes. But tonight I give you all living thing, the biggest hit of the year, and millions is what it brings. Man, it's packing up the Texas to crib. Before they fire the red, I hit him, I done, I only have a life to live. My community moving forward, lies and fears, helping me like Tyson does it. Rock, give sons, where I'm from, Southside, I do or die. Only song survive the biggest crime is homicide. I got a new rider, it's like a gold rush when the vibes bust. I got a new rider, it's like a gold rush when the vibes bust. I got a new rider, it's like a gold rush when the vibes bust. I got a new rider, it's like a gold rush when the vibes bust. Ben Wolf Entertainment. We here, Jamaica, Queens. That's how we rock. This is how we rock and this is how we do. So don't let nobody screw you. You just do what you have to do. One, I'm out. Ow. Wolf Entertainment. We here. You know where you're from. Jamaica, Queens. This is how we rock. Yo, it's been a long time since I rocked the mic. Now I'm back making tracks like a ninja bite. I've been upstate, got big, so the girls call me a yes, being girls like an open book. Oh, King Rabbit, get out and push, you know, getting whole sex to make my girlie touch. Belizean waters, my order, transporter, new world order, sons and daughters. I got a new rider, it's like a gold rush when the vibes bust. I got a new rider.
Greetings and welcome to our weekly podcast. We call this Belizean Awakening, where we discuss the issues trending. I am your host, G. Michael Reed. It is June 25th, 2026. Lots of things happening here in Belize, in particular when it comes to the test of the political system. We are going to find out, I imagine at some time shortly, whether we can pass this test, whether we can move forward to a more accountable form of governance, or are we going to stay stuck in this mire of just anything goes, anybody do what they want to do. The situation as it speaks is that we have a minister that's under scrutiny for abusing his authority. He's saying he had nothing to do with it, but obviously many family members have become, they've had benefits from his the ministries that he has controlled, one being defense, many of the financing, that the purchasing system seems to have been abused. We have the financial secretary now under fire. It'll be interesting to see what comes of this, because I think it's a test of our democracy. Are we really a democratic country? Do we really want to move forward with a better system of governance, or will it be the same old, same old? It is comforting to know that there is a system in place, an algorithm that prevents such matters, but we see it being subverted. For instance, if you have a contract with the government, that where government is buying anything from anyone, anything over $10,000 has to be accounted for, reported to the government, and brought under scrutiny. Makes a lot of sense. Now, obviously, you cannot micromanage. If a person wants to go out and buy a couple of pencils, buy a few things that cost anywhere up to $10,000, actually, they're able to do that. They have the authority to use out of their budget for that, but they're not allowed to go over that amount. They're not allowed to just willy-nilly spend what they want, use so much money they want. They ought not to be able to do that. And in the House and on your screen, of course, the representative of the whole white race, my good friend, Jeremy Spooner.
Yes, good evening.
Private citizen, Jeremy Spooner.
Yes.
And making his appearance also, the mind, the political genius of the area, Mr. Jose Coe. Hey, Joe, what's up?
Yeah, I'm here, Mr. Chairman. Present.
All right. Usually we get one more leg of the stool coming in to stand up strong. And we should have our friend Gregory Morrison with us shortly. In our house, we have also a guest. This gentleman is not stranger, no stranger at all to anyone in Belize, though he has been away for a while studying, right? Lennox, are you back home? Lennox Lang, greetings. You hear me? Or you're not? Your mic is not muted. Maybe ours is muted. Can you hear me, Joe? Can you hear me, Jerry?
Yeah, I'm here.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Can you hear us, Lennox? I don't think so. You look lost for a minute there. Anyway, when you hear us, let us know. Joe Lennox is joining us, right? He's going in and out and coming back in, which is probably what the the internet is not a perfect science. These things happen. So, fellas, how are we doing? How are we now when it comes to accountability and transparency? Are we any nearer?
Sorry.
Are we any nearer to where we want to be? Joe, you have been screaming for a long time. You have always said, and to quote your popular Marcus Aurelio quote, man must be upright and not necessarily kept upright. And I subscribe to that also. But obviously now we see that we've been attempted to keep some men upright. Has it been working? How are we doing? Lennox, can you hear us now?
I can. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now, loud and clear. Good evening and welcome to the show.
Good evening. Thank you guys for having me.
All right. Guys, are we going to go into that, or are we going to go on and bring Lennox in one time?
Well, introduce your guest.
All right. He needs no introduction, but I think we'll make him introduce himself. Lennox, have you completed your studies? You're a student or a graduate of political science? Which one?
I guess you're always a student of politics, right? So, I'm
until
I'm
you get
from,
to the point where Joe is. When you get to Jose's point, you pretty much reached that point.
you
But
become a senior class man.
correct. He become a teacher. So yeah,
Yeah, a
but
professor.
yeah. Where are we now with your standing as far as are you gonna be back in Belize?
I'm, I'm,
Contributing to
I'm
it.
yeah, I'm in transition at this point. So I should be fully back in Belize by the end of the summer this year. And I plan to engage a little bit more politically, um, just to ensure that the discourse and the appreciation of the science, from a practical standpoint, is looked at a little bit more. No,
Uh, we know you studied abroad. You studied a while in Venezuela, correct?
yes,
And
yeah,
I'm sure you have some friends there that you're concerned about right now. I see they got hit by, was it two massive earthquakes this
yeah.
month?
Two massive earthquakes in Caracas. I'm getting a lot of calls, but none of my immediate friends have
Okay.
been hurt significantly. But of course, you have damages to homes and infrastructure, which will affect the entire society. You know, so my prayers and my heart goes out to Caracas. I was actually planning to go. I'm still planning to go into Caracas in September. You know, so all the best to the people in Venezuela in this time. No,
Yeah, I understand quite a significant loss of life.
yeah, in Caracas.
Also,
Yeah.
and yeah, sad situation. It seemed though that the entire planet was active last night. There were about three earthquakes. Did you hear that, Jeremy? Couple. I think Japan had one.
Hello.
Yeah,
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 Lennox. We're hearing you.
yeah. I've actually I lived in California, so I've experienced earthquakes, and there's two types that I experienced. There is the one that sounds like a train. I was sitting in my apartment at my desk working, and it sounded like a train, a train coming towards me. And then all of a sudden, like when you're on a boat and a wave goes underneath you and the boat goes up and down,
The whole earth
just
was like that, no? Yeah.
just like that. That was the one I experienced. Another one, I was in a skyscraper in the basement with the parking, and that was a very frightening one because I was in an elevator and the building just went up in the air and then slammed down on the ground. Now, thank God the building didn't crack, didn't collapse or anything like that. That one there frightened me, and that is one that is always in my head. I don't want to be in a building where it lifts it up and slams it down.
We've had a few tremors in Belize, but I don't think we're over any fault as such. We're not. We haven't had any. Do you remember in your time, Joe, any major earthquakes in Belize?
Yeah, the worst I've ever experienced, and I was at home when things began to fall off the shelf. The house was actually shaking. And then after that happened, reports began to come from down south that the BTL towers had just been mangled. Our opening of the earth, our buildings that went down below the earth. That was the worst I've ever experienced. I think it's the worst Belize I've ever experienced.
So that earthquake was actually in Belize itself, in Belize proper,
No, it wasn't evident in that.
Guatemala, or one of those places.
Yeah, I think it was in Guatemala.
Yeah, I don't think we're in any major fault as such. Apparently, when the earth was created, it wasn't perfectly done, huh, Jeremy?
That's right. God messed up you. Well, you only had 5-6 days, right?
Well, it didn't mess up. I mean, that might have been by reason, and we don't know. I wouldn't question that. So,
I am not. I don't think we should make the judgment that Belize is outside of the risk. We may not be in the same risk because of the fault that runs from up north down south into Guatemala. That fault that they have, that is what puts such great risk to that area. But Belize is not really out of it. It's simple that we are not that prone because of the plates. But the other day, there was a quake, pretty small, and it was just 15 miles northeast of us. I was very close, 15 miles away from companies. I wanted to try that one.
A couple of people had posted that they felt it. I didn't.
I didn't either.
I wasn't asleep either, so I don't see. Um, I mean, I don't know. Because if we have a quake that close, and some people felt it, I would think that everybody would have felt it. Don't you think? No, but
What I want to suggest, Mr. Chairman, is that we have felt the tremors of the quakes of nature. I would like Mr. Lam now as the guest to be given that opportunity to share with us what are the political tremors we are facing now in terms of the public sector.
different earthquake, no?
Right, and I think that one is extremely far greater risk to the damage in this country than the tremors from the earth. So,
I was reading an article that Lennox. I see. Lennox, are you all right? You're going in and out on us there. The internet give you trouble, huh?
Yeah, I am. I am. Normally, you guys would have sent me a link via email. It seems to work a little bit better. But let's
All right.
proceed until the host sends me a link via email. I have less distractions when I get the link that way. But we can proceed and see what goes on.
Yeah, man. All right. We Joe was talking about political tremors, and certainly we're feeling some right now. I saw the article that you wrote, quite extensive and well researched piece post in there. Tell me, are we to be comforted knowing that there is in place the checks and balance, even though they're being subverted? Or do you think it's not enough, that maybe we need more legislation in place?
Actually, G Mike, I think the legislations that we have are enough. I think what we're facing in this society, and I think the last time I was on the show, I was pleasantly surprised with the civic pride that everybody felt about the present situation in Belize. I'm not going to be candid, I'm going to be very direct. You have different branch of governments, you have different branch of societies. In the case that we're dealing with right now, and I've been saying this for a long time now, one of the major issues in Belize is the public sector and the public servants. And the problem is not whereby we need more legislations. We have public officers who refuse to do their work, refuse to appreciate the benefits of wonderful holidays, the benefits of the pension plan that we give them, the salaries, the breaks that they get. Those responsibilities are given to public officers within a society because as a society we assume that they are sacrificing to protect the state, the people, and everybody. And what this last scandal showed is a severe breakdown within the duties of the public officers. And I think that's a discussion that we need to talk about. We need to expand on. This is not a political issue. It's really not. I understand the news medias and the opposition, everybody has to play politics. But this one rocks at the core of governance.
Exactly.
Whether or not G. Michael Reed is being paid to do his work as a public officer and he's doing his work. If police officers abuse their duty or they do not arrest or the military does not do their work, or if you go to the hospital and the nurses slip out, they get vilified, ridiculed, and they get punished. Our public officers, on the other hand, has been running amok, and they have gotten off the hook, and they have a responsibility to play.
So, if I hear you say that maybe the ministers are taking too much heat, and the public officers themselves ought to be hold up to scrutiny?
I am saying to you that John Brown, public officer, has a responsibility, and he's not doing his work. And by the media and the public coming after the politicians, we let the real people who should be protecting our interests off the hook for not doing their job.
Well, who protects the public officers when they reveal these things? I think that is the problem right there. Is that
Excellent job, excellent question, Spooners.
yeah.
They did not reveal it. They did not do anything.
That's right.
They did not.
Yeah.
But
You
somebody
reveal,
did. Somebody did.
G Mike, that's not how it works. At the point of those invoices,
Right.
at the point of that was where the revelation should happen. They should have called their supervisor. They should have called the finance officers. It's not at the point when it becomes a scandal that they did their job. We're not paying public officers to leak information. We're paying them to do their job. And you have about 6 different public officers, level, who dropped the ball. We should not have been dealing with a minister being put on suspension, and we have 6 public officers who should have been put on suspension immediately for the realization of their duties.
But
At
they
least
did
6 of
not
them should have been
know
suspended along with the minister.
when they found out that there was some improprieties happening there.
See, Mike,
I
they found.
understand that, but no, it wasn't. It had to be leaked first for us to
See, no,
find out.
no, G Mike, that's not how it works. I am a public officer, and I was a public officer. And I see irregularities when it hits my desk. It's my responsibility at that point to act. That's my responsibility.
You
And
know,
nobody acted in this situation.
just as there's a system in place to catch these things as they occur, even
Yes.
though you say they're not doing it like they should, there's also a system in place that prevents them. A kind of like underhanded thing where if you try to you be considered a snitch, if you try to out somebody, many times you have to do it in that subterfuge kind of way, in order that it be brought to the public through some leak, because it's not that simple.
Could I come in at that point? I would want to emphasize and highlight one of our major weaknesses, which the chairman is citing. Imagine when a society, a country has to depend on leaks. It is telling you how serious it is, because it's not about the leaks. It's not about leaks. It's not giving no people credit for leaks, because should not be no any leaks. There's nothing to leak. The fact is that they didn't do their duty, and that is obvious. So to me, there's nothing to leak, as I think Mr. Lam pointed out. There is a responsibility for a process from the beginning to the end. It's not a one-man job. It's not a just minister job. It's not just the finance officer job. It's not just the accounting officer job. It is several people's job.
Well, let's identify the problem. Why didn't they do their job?
Guys,
No, all right. No, if you have to come to the point, there is nothing seriously wrong in my judgment of our constitution. I don't see any serious fault with it. I don't see any serious fault with our laws. And there is where we need to begin to put the emphasis. The problem is a non-compliance problem. And we need to find a way how to ensure that compliance. That's what it is. And that's what I think Mr. Lam is talking about.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, guy, maybe I should explain to you guys what happened in this situation.
That's right. I think it should.
Let's look at the Ministry of Defense, what we're talking about. All right? They have an officer who is an internal auditor. He dropped the ball. You have the stores officer who dropped the ball. You have the receiving officer who dropped the ball. You have the procurement officer within the ministry that dropped the ball. You have the finance officer within the ministry that dropped the ball, and all their clerks. And you had the CEO who dropped the ball. All of these guys are being paid pension, salary, and all the benefits long before it reaches the minister. And nobody said anything. You don't leak, you don't like what the FinSec says. After 600 attempts to get below the threshold, you leak that from the, as a finance officer or as a clerk in the finance department within a ministry. You see that type of irregularity, you raise the flag to your supervisor immediately.
I hear you again, though. Many of these people serve at the pleasure of the boss, the one at top. Any
No,
of
they
them,
don't. No, and that's the mistake, G. Like,
the factor though.
No,
And
Mr.
you say they
Chairman,
ought not. I think we looked at about two different things. There's a system that ought to be, and there's a system in place that is. We know what ought to be, but we also know what is. Let me invite Gregory to the show before we move on. Good evening, Gregory. Welcome.
Good evening, and thank you very much.
Our
Good evening.
guest this evening is Lennox Lam. Our one picky brain and get the most we can out of him. He's a political scientist, and I think he has a good grip on what is happening here and what is affecting us in Belize. Lam, you really believe that everything is in place to make this system work well, and if people would do what they're supposed to do, it would be working well. Is that your view?
G. Mike, what I'm saying to you, legally, let's go to the crooks in the room. Legally, there's nothing that can be done to the minister. Only thing the minister could be found guilty of is not disclosing whether or not he told his ministry that those people that did the procurement was his family member.
So how about nepotism?
Can I finish?
How about nepotism?
Can
Yeah,
I
go
finish?
ahead.
That's an ethical violation. The violations that took place is more grievous when you have the person who is in charge of the finances for a ministry, which is the CEO. Nobody, he is the accounting officer. He should have noted, he should have seen that and flagged that.
So,
You have people within the ministry, within the accountant general office.
you say
It's the experiment.
barring that all those other people that you label down the line, somebody out down the line ought to have caught it. That's what you're saying, and brought it forward.
What is frightening, G. Mike, is that we might, as a country, we might be facing a criminal enterprise within the public service. You cannot have so much public officers across so many ministries dropping the ball on these type of corruption, and one doesn't have to ask the question: Are these public officers in collusion? Are they finance? And I think that the FinSec alluded to that.
Yes, he sure did.
There's
He
too
sure did.
much. There was too. G. Mike, I watch you and I congratulate you. You live in the South Side, and I watch you every day, every chance you get. You help and provide services to young kids in the neighborhood. That's your. You don't have to do that, but that's your civic pride. Similarly, these ones are paid to be the vanguards, to be the protectors of the public purse. That's what the public officers are there for. You cannot be told to do wrongdoing. You have an obligation as a public officer to do your work, to uphold the law in the execution of your duty.
Let me add something, because beyond the point of just having the invoice broken down, there's the fraudulent move of acknowledging them by just putting that dot that allows you to process it, and that is done in the office. So that's not happening outside. So it shows that there is collusion within the departments to make that particular um, entry. That is not something from outside. That's the person could submit 100 or 200 $9,000 bill. That is one thing. Processing it is eluding the system and breaking the system. But when someone actually changes it and makes sure you could process them within a time frame that is illegal and inconsistent with the rules and the laws, then that is showing that there's corruption within the organization that's processing those payments.
Let us,
So are the public officers getting a little graft by doing that?
of
I'm
course,
sure something is
of
happening.
course.
I'm not.
Okay, so that's why there's no compliance, because
But
they're
might
benefiting
be
from it.
might be more than that. I'm not so willing to let the minister off on that, because make no mistake, those people saw that name, know who those people are, know who those people are related to, and need their jobs.
Yeah,
More people have been fired for less than that.
yeah.
So
And
if you,
particularly in private sector, you could they would not survive in the private sector with that kind of behavior.
Yeah, but I think one of the mistakes that could be made right now that I'm hearing,
uh,
there's no such thing as two systems. That's total nonsense. There's only one system. And to suggest that there is another system where they are undermining the actual system that it should be. There's no such thing as the way it ought to be and the way it is one way, is to be one way. No, every institution, if there are only 10 employees, they have international fundamental rules of separation of duties. That is fundamental in internal controls. The public sector is the largest institution in this country in terms of capital and human resource. Now, for each transaction, it means that you may have 6 or 7 different persons involved
right.
before you may ever reach the minister. You will tell me now that with all these internal controls by laws, the Finance Audit Reform Act, the hundreds and hundreds of financial orders and store orders and subsidiary laws for internal controls, the transparency and accountability regulations under the finance. These are a lot of controls, and there are many. I finish right there. Hold on, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I can finish. What I'm saying to you all, let us stop the belief that there are two systems. There is one system, and the one system means that if 7 people were involved, as Mr. Lam is mentioning them name to you, it means then this is not a case of one somebody, the minister. No. And don't suggest to me that the minister would threaten them to do it, because he cannot.
Yeah, a threat does not have to be outward, and you could tell me how it should be and how it ought to be. I'm telling for you, if you're suggesting to me there's no kind of two system there, I put it to you that I don't think you understand what is happening really.
The only reason why, Mr. Chairman, I'm not understanding it is if you suggest that I'm suffering from some amnesia or something. I keep saying to you all, I've worked the system for over 2, 3, 4 decades. I know the system more than, and please, I want
it worked perfectly for you.
We Mr. Chairman, we asked Mr. Lam to come on this show. No, he's saying something that I think we should follow through on. I am saying to you, let us look at who all are supposed to be involved in a process. No, let's understand what it is. Then let's ask yourself where the breakdown took place. And then that is what I think we should be doing.
It seems it's a collusion, and we have seen this before. We have seen this before. We have seen the credit union where people, I don't want to introduce another thing, but we have seen the collusion in the credit union where people were approving loans for people that didn't make those loans, and the person that was approving those loans it took 3 people to approve those loans. They were approving them for people that lives in the States and other parts of the outside of Belize, and then they all shared up the money when they make these fraudulent loans against these people's names. So we have seen this type of collusion. In it seems like we have a corrupt little country at every level, and multiple people, like Mr. Lam mentioned, is part of this corruption. And I don't take it away that the minister is not, we don't know his level of involvement, but we know he may have introduced and he may have facilitated his family getting these contracts, because these contracts did not seem, and they still haven't got fully to that, but they don't seem to have been fully put into the public tender process as it should. And so there's a lot of concern that may yet cloud his position. We don't know his level of involvement at this time.
You see,
Lennox.
well, there's another breakdown of the system, because if you're saying that when people have to make a tender and there were no tenders and the contracts were just given out to his family,
Yes.
so why wasn't there compliance there? Who's in charge of that section
Exactly.
there?
Exactly. So that's why I said that could only come from someone giving a nod to make sure that these things were processed. And that was part of probably why they were hiding the payment. And what we don't know is, were these goods actually provided to the level of the payment?
Eh,
That is
eh,
still
eh, eh,
another big issue.
exact. That's
Can I ask you
exactly.
a question?
Joe,
Joe,
one
Joe,
second.
Joe, you told us, Josette, Joe, you just told us we invited Mr. Lam on the show.
No, just ask me.
But he want to talk, man. He want to talk, Joe.
No, no,
Hold
no, ask you a question.
the talk, man. Hold the
Let
talk.
me answer to what the gentleman just said just now. We are still yet to know if we got value for services. That's why you have the that's why you have the receiving officer. We have to did those goods reach the ministry? Did they reach the standard that the ministry required? Did they get the volume of goods that they paid for? All of that should have been done by the store's manager for the Department of Defense. We don't know that. He should have been cross-referencing that. Where's his report?
Is this a part of the investigation, though, that's going
No, no,
on?
no. G Mike, we're not talking investigation. I'm talking G Mike, we're not talking investigation. I'm saying to you that the managers of the stores for the ministry, when goods, when whatever ministry buys whatever they buy, his duty under the regulations and the Financial Stores Act, which govern what he does. He looks at the invoice.
Yes.
He has to ensure that what government pays for,
They
they get. And that comes in his report.
So we know one person that dropped the ball. That one
No,
person.
we
There- there- there are
we
more.
say potentially drop the ball.
We don't know
I'm
yet.
going from the back going up. He potentially dropped the ball.
Right.
You have the clerks within the financial office that looks at invoices. We all know the rule is under 10,000. You see a repeated amount of invoices coming in at 9,000 for GMAC, for 9,000. You have a responsibility to go to the F4 and say, F4, we need to look at this. It seems to me that GMAC is intentionally breaching this. We're buying meats, or we're buying egg product on a weekly basis, on an annual basis. Shouldn't this go out to tender? Why is he doing this? That wasn't done. 1 second. It goes to the accountant general's office at Treasury, where the approval is made. The clerks that processes that is seeing these names. They're looking at it. You take it to your accountant general. This look highly irregular. What is going on? Everybody boat is closed.
Yeah.
The
Everybody's
CEO,
being fed.
the CEO, which is the finance officer within the ministry that is responsible for the budget. He sees 600 entries in there. And he has a responsibility to say, but wait, what is going on here? What is going on here?
Can I bring something to your notice now, Mr. Long?
Yes, sir.
And I also Mr. Morrison. One, I want to make it absolutely clear that they were hiding nothing. Somebody suggests they were hiding. They were not hiding anything.
How you know that?
I know
How you
because
know
of
that?
it, because there was nothing to hide, my brother. Everything
Mr.
was there.
They were
Mr.
hiding.
Morrison,
They were
can I allow me to finish because I'm telling you facts. So I'm not giving you your
okay.
result.
Okay, go ahead. I'll tell you
What
what they were
happened,
hiding.
and Mr. Lam, I need to just clear this point with you because I think you did a lot of research. I read it and I know you did a lot. There is no such thing as a 10,000. No part of the law has 10,000. None.
Exactly. You're right, Joe.
That's
You're
right.
right.
So I want to make that clear. There is
It's
none.
not the
What
law.
the Finance and Other Reform Act, there are three ways of tendering: open tender, selective tender, limited tender. No, there are certain things that you do not tender for. So if I want to buy $5,000 worth of toilet paper today or some supplies like pharmaceutical, whatever it is, I can do that. I don't have to go through no tender. That whole process of 6, 7 people doesn't come in at all. You can just buy it. Go and buy it for anybody you want. So what they did, they deliberately made sure that the invoices were not too high so that they could claim that they were using the fourth aspect. They give you a fourth part in the Finance and Other Reform Act that if you don't have need for open tender, you don't do it. If you cannot get open tender done, you go to selective tender. If the selective tender doesn't work, you go to limited tender. And then you don't need to tender, period, if the amount is regularly needed. I need this thing every day, or every other day, or every week, but I know a lot.
And
I
are
don't
you saying,
That's all.
regardless of how much money you say, there's no $10,000 ceiling,
None. What I'm saying to you, Mr.
so they
Chairman,
can spend as much as they want,
right,
as
what
long
I'm
as.
saying to you, we must first know the law. I think somebody pointed out
But I'm
very.
asking you a basic question, man. You know the answer.
I will ask it again if I know the answer.
Yeah, there's no limit. They can spend as much as they want, as long as it's stuff that they really need. Is that what you're saying, or as long
Yeah,
as they go through a tender process?
right. What it is saying,
Uh-huh.
if I need to buy something, maybe only $1,000 thing, and I maybe need it next week again. What the law is doing, it cannot bind you to having to go through a tender process. Is a lengthy procedure. It takes time. So the open tender is 5 million and over.
5 million now?
No, it always was 5 million open tender. Once you're going to tender, once you're going to do procurement for 5 million and over, you have to use open tender.
So
That's a length.
why did these people feel the need to stay under 10,000? Why were so
I
many
just don't
invoices
mention
for
it.
9,000?
I just don't mention it. That after the open tender, you're below the 5 million, you go for selective tender. Selective tender means that over the years, government have a list of people who are buying from. And all it needs to do now, you see, under the open tender, you have to gazette it. Once you're doing open tender, you have to be gazetted. That even people outside the country, especially when it's foreign funds, anybody can tender, but they have to be going through the gazette. The government have to publish it that everybody knows. It's an open thing. But when it's not the open tender, it's a selective tender. Government keeps a list of the people it buys from.
So I'm disappointed because I was comforted for a minute thinking that there was some limit where they had to report if they go above. But what it seems now, I mean, this is much ado about nothing then, because if they can do what they want with how much they want, then they can always do what they're doing now and excuse it away as just being within the
Yeah.
scope.
No. It's
I
not.
think
It's
there's
not.
a misspoke to say there is no limit. There is a limit that you cannot go above a certain amount, and they have proven that by breaking down repeatedly invoices that would have resulted in some type of query. And there was a number of invoices that was submitted originally for 18,000 and
That's right.
20,000, and they came back and they broke those invoices down and made them 8,000 and 9,000 so that they get processed. So there is a limit that they can process without having the proper scrutiny
Scrutiny.
and and
right.
oversight.
I hope that's what it is, but
Right,
I'm
you are
hearing now
saying
it's
you are
not.
saying
No,
there is a
I
limit.
think that's a misspoke. I think that's
You
a
are
misspoke.
saying that there is a limit. Where in the law is it? Who said there is a limit?
If it's not
The
there, it
financial
ought to be.
secretary said there was.
Let
No.
me hold on a second. Let's see what this gentleman is saying, and
I
maybe
can read it there right now. I have the document in front of me.
Joe, can maybe this Lennox can respond to this. The
Let
minister
me
must
finish.
have Joe, man. Please, may I speak?
Go
Sorry for
ahead.
speaking while you're interrupting there, sir. The minister must have provided consent for the disbursement of the numerous invoices. From the beginning, he possesses the exclusive authority and oversight necessary to authorize or accept tenders from suppliers of goods and services relevant to his portfolio. Ultimately, the responsibility originates with him and concludes with him and in the context of his ministry. Now,
Agreed.
So, G Mike, I'll answer that in one sentence.
right.
Totally wrong and false. That
That's
is
right.
not the law.
That's
He
right.
does not have that authority. That authority lies in the public, in the PS or the CEO,
Would you
not the minister.
would you agree that many of these
I
ministers
think he was.
overstep
G Mike,
their
G
bounds?
Mike, G Mike, G Mike, G Mike.
Uh-huh.
You cannot. I am I am the person responsible.
Uh-huh.
I am getting 70,000+ to do a job. You can the minister's signature, G Mike, has no authority within the accounts and financing system in Belize.
I
He cannot
no,
sign or approve.
cannot have a strong word. They've done too
No,
much
he
that
does.
you
The system allows for signatures and electronic signatures and written. His signature does not append to anything financial. It has
But,
no
but, but but
it
Mr.
has
Lam,
no
Mr.
value.
Lam, that is correct. But what I think the writer was alluding to, that if the minister gives a consent, the process gets in play that
But
allows these
I
irregularities
am
to
saying to
happen.
the minister
No.
cannot
That's
you cannot
officially. He doesn't
guy,
write
you
something.
cannot no no
Mr.
you
Lam, you're
guy.
wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong.
Why am I
You're,
wrong?
because if he gives his consent to his team, the people that are supposed to
You
make these
cannot
approvals
you
make
cannot give
do.
you cannot give a directive, a illegal directive to a
Well, it's
professional
illegal.
public
It's illegal.
officer for
It's
him to do. You can't do that.
what do you mean he can't do it?
Lennox.
And what do
No,
you mean
no.
he can't do it? And we see evidence of
It
it.
seems
Oh,
naive for us to be saying that. Cannot is a very strong word.
yeah,
They
yeah.
have done it too
But
often
good.
for us to say they cannot do it. It's done too
Correct.
often. If
The,
they
the,
cannot,
the,
if that system is so much in place and so stringent, then we should
the,
not be having this conversation.
they should,
That we should, G
the
Mike.
police
That
should
the
not
reason
have
we're having the discussion,
arrested
guys.
either. The
Mr.
police
The
should
reason
Chairman,
not
we're
have
having this
arrested.
discussion,
I will
guys,
come in now
is
and I will
because the
ask.
public office, Joe, one second, is
Yeah.
because the public officers and the CEOs do not know their jobs, do not know their authority,
Well, that's the
and
same
they
thing. That's the
so
same thing.
no. So you cannot transfer
Cannot,
responsibility.
you should not. You should
You
not. Use
can
the
G
right
Mike,
word.
So
G
you
Mike,
think those,
you cannot tell me
Mr. Lamb,
yes.
so you believe those public officers that are hired and had their job at risk and have their job at risk did this on their own personal d-
I am
option to
I am saying to
enable,
you,
let me finish, to enable the corruption we see through those ministry? You think they just did it on their
I am
own?
saying to you, those public officers are in more legal problem. The director of prosecution,
I agree.
based on the come after them, they
I
can go to
agree.
jail.
If the system works as it should, then
They will go to jail.
let me
They
say
are the ones
something.
responsible.
Is
Yes,
it
I agree.
possible?
I agree. I agree.
Is it possible that wittingly or unwittingly, these people were a part of something sinister like this? Is it that maybe some of them just show up and do the very least they can in a job and just sign on things as opposed to giving it the scrutiny that they should? Is that possible? What is happening here?
Sure. All of us live in Belize. I want special favor from the minister. I want this. I want to promote. They are part and parcel of the irregularity because they want to benefit from whatever quick pro
Yes,
quo they can get from the minister.
correct.
That's the reality, and that's criminal.
And it should not happen, but you cannot say it cannot happen.
No,
That is my point.
G-Mike, these public officers are as corrupted.
Yes, we agree.
As the lead, but G-Mike, they have a duty.
You're saying there are no impetus for their corruption, that they were not directed to do it. They
go to work hoping that they can facilitate some type of irregularity so they can benefit at the end of the day. And that is the problem.
I don't know that.
I like how you just dropped the minister out and just put it out on the public officers. I definitely believe that this corruption leads way to the top. It's not just corrupt public officers. It's corrupt politicians. It's corrupt ministers that have allowed this process to happen. He, from what I'm seeing and what I'm understanding, has allowed, and I believe, his family to benefit at the public purses by avoiding all of the requirements of law for tendering and for payments. Up to now, we don't know if the goods that was paid for in the millions and millions of dollars was actually procured. And as you mentioned, even if they were procured, did they meet the quality that was necessary for this?
Who do you as a taxpayer pay to ensure that takes place?
Well, we pay the public officers.
Thank you very much. So the buck stops there.
But we paid the buck stops as the minister.
The buck stops there.
Why do we need a minister
in charge?
He's the man in charge. Why do we
The buck
need him
stops
there?
there.
So
So I'm giving public officers, and Joe will tell you this: the largest part of our budget is to pay public officers to administrate.
So the minister not get no money. The minister
no. G-Mike, public officers has the average public officer has a tenure of 30 years. The average politician has a time clock of 5 years.
Oh,
Can I finish? We have had this is a succession of continuous. It doesn't matter if it's red, blue, Minister Blue or Minister Gray.
Right.
The public officers have been complicit. The public officers have been complicit in ensuring that the politicians fleece the public. Do we continue to leave them, let them go and blame the ministers that are coming for 5 years?
No, but we can't exonerate the minister either. The minister, that the head of the department, he is there to make sure everything works right. He gets paid well for that.
That is not
public officers. Yes, well, let me finish.
G-Mike, you're being irresponsible.
How am I being irresponsible?
The politicians in Belize who become ministers are there as policy makers of the ministry. They have no other authority within the ministry outside of policy. No, and listen to me. Can I finish? I learned this, G-Mike. I have a degree in politics and government. I learned this in third farm at high school by a teacher named Miss Flowers. This is third farm social studies. If you don't understand what the role of the minister is, and you wake up and say, instead of drop on your knees and pray to God, and you think the minister is God, that's on you. That's not what you were taught in high school.
Is that what you were taught?
Mr. Chairman, can I come in and I will lead short just so I can cover it. Just allow me to say something before Just allow me to say something. Gentlemen, I read what Mr. Lam wrote. He sent it to me last night, and I read it. And I thought it was well written. Why? I knew every aspect of the law when it comes to oversight of public funds. And I thought Mr. Lam did good research, and he did it in accordance with the law. Therefore, when he made criticism in his expo that he did, I thought they were good. Now, I don't have a problem in those of us who do not know the law and want to have an opinion as to say why, all right,
No,
can't.
but you're disrespecting us. You are disrespecting us, Joe.
How?
Don't go there.
No, tell me how.
Because you can't just because we don't
No,
know
no, tell me
the
everything, man. Please, man. I don't disrespect you.
Calm down, sir. Calm down. You're too
No,
old
you
for that.
calm down too.
Calm
No,
down.
you calm down because I did talk something and I did talk sensible. I am saying to you.
In your opinion.
Yes, it is my opinion, not yours.
Right.
And I have my opinion. I am saying to you that if Mr. Lam or Mr. Morrison knows something that I don't know, I will listen to him. Now, after I listen to him, I can get an opinion and say, boy, you are right in what you are saying, that is the law, or that is the science. But maybe we should have do it differently. That's different. I cannot sit here and tolerate. We're just making accusations.
What's your point?
Hold on, I don't know. No, let's deal with the minister. I listen to all of the talk with the minister. This under the law, the constitution of this country, there's a section that gives the minister responsibility over direction and controls of all the departments. I was a minister, I had to know.
Okay, is that not what we have been saying?
Hold on, make I finish. Hold on, man. You see? No.
Okay.
Responsibility in the constitution does not mean that the minister is guilty of anything.
No, nobody's saying the minister is guilty. No, but you're okay.
No, I am telling you.
It sounds like you're defending him. You sound like you're.
I am no. You know how read how Mr. Lam ended his what he wrote. He said that this is not to condemn, to exonerate anyone. It's to get us to understand how we are to be governed in our public finance. That is why I thought he did a very good writing. Now, let us now begin to understand first. These are the legal opinion. These are the legal facts. Then we could give an opinion. But Taurus should be shouting and hollering that this is to be done.
But you didn't want to shout and holler.
No, I am because I happen to know Mr. Lam sent it to me to vet for him. And he
and
because I read it.
Mr. Cohen, let me introduce something.
I'm leaving. I have something else.
You're the expert here. You're a minister. You have done this. We need your guidance and understanding and clarification to us. But let me say something. I agree that the minister is not supposed to be looking at the actual billing.
The operations.
Nobody is saying that. We're saying there's some high irregularity that happened through this entire department that he is the minister in charge of. We are trying to find out, did he influence the level of behavior that was characterized throughout the entire ministry in terms of why these goods were procured in the manner they did without proper tender?
But Mr. Morrison, can I say something? But your statement is not factual. That responsibility is for the CEO. That responsibility is the CEO.
What's not factual? Tell me.
Everything you said is not factual. The responsibility is the CEO, not the minister.
Let me answer you.
I'm not saying the minister did anything.
So you're not understanding me. I am saying to you, what you just properly stated is the duty of the CEO, not the minister.
That is correct. The CEO is the accounting officer, not the minister, Mr. Morrison.
I did not
Mr. Morrison, what I find fault with you, and let me tell you what right now I define the fault with you. When Mr. Lam did his thing and he finished it, let me say this to you. Nobody right now, none of us will be saying who is guilty or not. We could say what went wrong, but none of us know. Hold on, I finish. What the minister of finance did, which some believe he shouldn't have done, is left it to the financial secretary. He has ordered an audit. No, not an investigation, an audit.
Yes.
When the audit is done, and the auditor will do what you call a probity and compliance audit, not a financial audit. They don't do that.
Yeah.
When the auditor general finish with the probity and compliance audit, if he find it wanting, then the investigation can take place. Then they can turn it over to the director of public prosecution.
Agreed.
All I was trying to hope that we could do together, all of us, make each one of us come to the table with what we know, and let us give our opinions and respect each other, rather than begin to define faults and blame the minister they blame this one. Let us understand the system first. And then
Somebody,
at the end of the
Mr.
day,
Cohen,
at the end of
Mr.
the
Cohen,
day,
stop.
when the
Stop. No, let me
investigation is done
Mr.
and the
Cohen.
matter must go to the court, then we are know who guilty.
But
As to
Joe,
the public
No,
Joe,
we've
subject.
Joe,
gone
Joe,
through that
Joe.
too. We've gone through that too much. You
But
can't
G-Mike,
expect.
G-Mike,
Yeah,
can I say
yeah,
something to
yeah.
you?
We are where we are
Guys,
because of that attitude.
G-Mike,
Go ahead,
G-Mike,
go
what
ahead,
I'm
go
saying
ahead.
to you is, G-Mike,
Yes, yes.
based on the laws and how the system is set up, the minister cannot be charged with anything because he does not hold that
Unless
responsibility.
Mr. Stop that. He can be charged if he had colluded with his staff to do and provide them with
How
direction.
how 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 you approve? How will you prove collusion?
You'll
Well,
prove
the
that
staff
when
will
some of
come
the people
forward
that
if
were
they.
part of the conspiracy speak out and said we received direction from the minister.
But
That's how
you
you prove
cannot,
it.
buddy, you cannot give an. I cannot tell you to go and kill, and then you
Yes,
go
you
kill
could.
and blame
You could,
me.
and you'll be found guilty of murder also. Yes, you can. You can
Okay.
go and tell somebody to kill somebody, and if you do and they kill that
Let,
person,
let,
you
let, let,
too
let, let me
will
help
be
you. Let me
found
help you.
guilty of
And I
murder.
said, let me help you to figure something out. Let
No,
me
you
put it
don't.
in let me put this in perspective for you guys. Our ministers, first and foremost, are legislators. Do you agree? I'm asking you a question. Do you agree that our ministers are first and foremost legislators?
Explain yourself. You mean that they make the laws
G Mike, they are elected as
and,
their representative
and they
who
make the
was
laws, and legislators
good.
mean they make the laws.
So good. So if I am a legislator, just human being here, if I
Uh,
am a legislator, will I make a law that will put me in jail?
I don't get your point. I
The
don't see the
point
point.
is, G Mike, our ministers are first and foremost legislators. So when they write these laws, the financial laws, all these laws, is they will not put themselves in jail. So when they take a lower position of a minister, which is lower than a legislator, do you think they will write the laws to ensure that they go to jail if
Hold on,
irregularities
hold
happen?
on, hold on. You said something just now that the ministers are legislators, but when they take a role that's a legislator that's lower than a minister, or a minister that's lower than a legislator,
A minister is
it's
lower than
kind
a
of
legislator.
confusing. So then,
G,
but
G Mike, G Mike,
you
G Mike.
just said the ministers are
The
legislators.
Supreme, G
Did
Mike, the
you not
Supreme.
say? Hold on. Did you not say that the ministers are legislators?
I said era representatives are legislators who then
No,
become
you said ministers.
who then become ministers. You make you have to understand the system. Who then become so
And,
how it works in
in
Belize.
becoming ministers, they are less than the
A
legislators and
minister is
above
less
them.
than a legislator in the pecking order of politics.
And the ministers are less than area
They
representatives.
are far. They're not lawmakers. A minister cannot make a law.
All right, but you kind of like had confused it for a minute.
No,
You're saying
because you
that
guys believe that ministers are gods. You're
no,
gods and you're
you
legislators.
tell me what we believe. Again, you're being disrespectful, man.
I am.
No, you're trying now. You're the one thinking the minister is God because you're trying to exonerate the
No,
minister.
I'm not
When in fact, there's
exaggerating
no
that,
way
G
in the
Mike.
hell. First of all, you're missing a key point. This man was related to these people who are in
I
the
am
center
not
of this
missing G Mike,
controversy.
but I am not missing the point. I am telling you, don't do what Belizeans are wonderful of doing. You don't blame the wrong person for the action.
Yes,
Our
sir.
first line of defense when it comes to public finances are our public officers. You can't, if the soldiers are not doing their jobs, you can't blame anything else.
The
Our
system
first
is
line
not
of defense
set
have
up
failed
like
us.
you just said. The way they write the law is so that
That's
they
the
don't go to jail. Hold
listen
on,
to me. But
let me finish this time,
yes,
please, for God's sake. 'Cause I
yes.
seem to be the only one that can't have anything to say here. If they are writing the law that they won't go to jail, don't you think they'll write the law to make sure that what they want to get done gets done?
And
Don't you think?
I am saying to you, you're wrong. Because when you write the law as a legislator, you are not writing it thinking you'll become a minister. The minister is an appointment on the prime minister. They're not elected to be. They're not elected to be ministers. They're elected to be legislators. The second thought is to be a minister.
So they have no power when they turn minister.
Excuse me,
They have no power when they turn ministers.
G. Mike. They have powers. They have powers to abide. Their power is constrained under the laws that they write because they're legislators.
You know,
Mr. Lam, could you allow me to come in
Sure.
here? Ministers have executive power. Legislators have legislative power. In the parliamentary system, legislators are also ministers. Now, ministers can make laws, but they cannot make the provisional laws. They can make subsidiary laws, which are the regulations they size. Right here before me, I can show you the section 24 that was amended to make sure that anybody who violates the Finance and the Audit Reform Act, there will be a penalty of 2 years or 10,000. That was not done till the reform was 2005. This was not done until in 2010. It was in 2010 that they made everyone, including ministers, anyone who contravenes unknowingly permits or suffers any person to violate the law, that they can in fact be found guilty and be penalized, and they tell you the penalty.
has it ever been done?
It has not yet been done, never. But not
so-
because it wasn't done, that's a different issue.
No. But had the violation occurred in any instance that you?
In the first case, the closest they came to violation under the Finance and the Audit Reform Act was when a judicial review went before the court with regarding to Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Dean Barrow, for violating the Finance and Audit Reform Act with supplementary laws. I was involved in that myself. Again, that's what I'm telling you. That was the first time the then leader of the opposition went to the court for a judicial review. And the judicial review went against the then Minister of Finance, that he violated the Finance and Audit Reform Act. No. If they had decided to go further and to take litigation and he was found guilty, then that would have been different. But that was very stubborn.
Who made the decision to not go further?
Well, whosoever made the decision to take it to judicial review, anybody can take it further who wanted to, but nobody decided to go further.
Lennox,
Yeah, G. Mike.
let's go further with this, because you've looked at it and you see, you've identified some of the people that you believe we should be looking at, who may be part and parcel to this whole wrong that was done, if any wrong was done, because we're saying here now nothing has been proven, so we can't form an opinion on this. We can't think that nothing was done. Something seems improper to me. I don't know how you guys see it.
Mr. Chairman, can I tell you how I see it? I see the same way how the Financial Secretary sees it. There is evidence of high suspicion that something went wrong. Therefore, now we need to do the audit and then the investigation.
But let me, and I try to clear things up when you say there's evidence of high suspicion. That don't make sense to me.
It makes a lot of sense, because what he's saying this, he never used those exact words. That's what he meant, and I'm giving it because that's what he's saying.
Evidence of high suspicion. Do you have evidence or do you have suspicion?
No evidence, because what they found was these amount of invoices where there was a total of 5.7 million, and they broke them down where 1.3 million, for example, had 60 odd invoices. They gave you the amount of invoices. Those are facts. So what he's saying, and I agree with him, evidently it is evidence of high suspicion. No, because you have high suspicion, you need to carry out the audit first. The audit, quite likely, because it will be a probity and compliance audit, and the audit very likely will show, and that is what I think we are discussing, I hope we were discussing, that there was a non-compliance. We got a compliance audit. No, when that is done, then they can take the step that, listen, we're going on for criminal, and that's where the investigation will begin.
So we're looking now basically at a procedure where these people who were involved, had they done their job the way they should have done their job, could have prevented this. How
Exactly.
now then does the fact that the minister's relatives are involved affects this, or is it none at all and we should not even look at that?
No, I would say this, that nothing wrong for human beings when your brother and sister is involved. When two people are involved, what they call it in law, partisan, you will raise the suspicion higher. So if I saw something wrong, or when I look at it, but wait, these are members of the same family, then you begin to probe further because there is something seems to be wrong.
Could that be considered also evidence of high suspicion?
I would say it is something that once you begin to see the amount of invoices, then you begin to say, well, wait, all of this stuff circulates within this network of one family. But to this point, all I am hoping that on this show, that none of us could be said that we have made an accusation against any person per se, because we have no evidence to convict anybody or to say anybody did anything wrong yet.
But we're not here as a jury.
No, but the point, all I am saying to you, Mr. Chairman, is that we came here with a research that was done by Mr. Lam, and I asked that we invite him to hear what he found, and then let us discuss what he found. But for us to do it, we have to look at the law first.
Joe,
Then we can have the discussion as to whether the
Joe,
law was apparently violated.
Joe and G Mike again, I appreciate you guys having me here. And it's wonderful to hear your guys' opinion. I like hearing what you guys are saying. But and I'm being very honest, it's very frightening as a student of politics and a student of government to see how much we as a society do not appreciate the laws that we have in place. We don't appreciate the roles that each sector plays in the society. And it's even more frightening to see a society who because the need to cast blame is so gratifying, that we will cast blame on one individual, one group of individuals, and leave the entire house to be burnt within the process.
That's not what we're doing here. That is
G-Mike,
not
yes,
what
we
we're
are.
doing here.
Yes,
No.
G-Mike.
No. I could
We-
say to you that you're defending the minister and
I am
blocking
not,
him.
G-Mike.
You jump front out like Stacey.
G-Mike, the financial secretary, who is the head accountant for the country, is saying the exact same thing that I said.
Does that make it right?
The system has too much checks and balance in it for this to have occurred. But these checks and balances are actually manned by individuals. We had soldiers, police officers who were sleeping on duty that allowed the crime to occur, if a crime occurred. And you want to tell me, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
I'm saying the commissioner also has to be looked at.
I am
That's
saying
all I'm saying to you.
I
Is that
gave
okay?
you guys, G-Mike, I gave you guys I am telling you, in a mature democracy, in a more mature society, you would have had 8 or 9 people within that ministry that would have been on leave with that minister. That is where the buck stops. You can't have all these individuals dropping the ball, still working. And if we go further, guys, if we want to be honest, we could go back 10 years, we could go back 15 years. These same individuals have dropped the ball with other ministers. At what point does our vanguard, the protectors of the public purse, which is not the minister, which is the public officer, will say this is wrong, I am not approving this. I'm not signing that.
You
That is
know,
why they're being
I
paid.
agree with you. I agree with you that this person that finally makes the decision and approve those payments are public officers. What we don't know is what influence any ministerial pressure may have had in first awarding those contracts, ensuring them in place, and then guaranteeing the payments to the level that they were made. That is the question, and that is what needs to be resolved.
and it's a
Nobody,
legitimate question. That is a legitimate question.
nobody
Mr.
says,
Morrison, Mr. Morrison, you hear what you said just now?
yes, sir.
You said
I know what I said.
you said that is what we need to know, so you don't know it.
No, nobody's saying we know it.
So
Nobody
if you
has
don't
said
know it, if you don't know it, you seem to be suggesting that you know it.
So you're
No,
suggesting if we
no,
don't know it, we need not to speak on it. Is that what you're saying, Joe?
no,
If
no, no,
we don't
I
know
am
it,
saying if we do not know
right, we shouldn't speak on
that
it.
the minister,
Uh-huh.
some of the members
Right.
may be guilty of collusion with public
Uh-huh.
officers,
Uh-huh.
I don't think on this show we should be saying it.
Why?
If you want to sit with me
Why?
for a coffee,
Why shouldn't we be asking that question?
no. You ask the question as to who
Yes.
is wrong. But if I ask you the question, why you believe that G. Michael Spooner, or you think that Gregory? No. I would say, boy, something went wrong. We need to find out who did it. And
But
that's
that's,
it.
that's what we've been saying the whole time. Nobody has
you-
made an
you might-
accusation. Nobody has made an accusation
Yeah.
against the
Yeah,
minister
yeah.
family or
Can
the
I-
minister himself.
Go ahead, Lennox.
Can I ask a question?
Uh-huh.
I was watching Channel 7 News last night, where this is a non-minister's business that this same type of activity took place. Nobody involved in politics. Their family has never run in politics, but there's a series of invoices
Yes,
that this exact thing took place.
yes.
Who do we blame? No, we have no minister to blame.
It's the system.
Who do we blame for the same exact behavior
Lennox,
with a private sector? Who do we blame?
this is not a blame game, though.
No, I'm asking you. But I'm asking a direct question.
You and Joe are accusing us of blaming
I'm not
the
accusing
minister.
anybody. I'm not accusing anybody. I'm saying to you, G, Mike,
Mi-
on the
Mr.
news
Mr.
last
Lam,
night.
Mr. Lam, we all agree that the system is broken.
No. I don't want you to say the system.
No.
Eh,
We agree.
Let's put the name on the system. I am saying to you, the system is manned. The system is manned by individuals
Right.
who has a position,
Right.
and they're called public officers.
Right.
And last night on the news, I saw where individuals called public servants facilitated the exact same deal for someone who has no political ties. So who do we blame?
Well, you blame them, but if that person has authority, that person also. If you have a person with authority that wields that influence in order to get things done, how can you exonerate him and say he not got nothing to do with it? You have to blame the one who's doing it.
Listen to me. What authority does a businessman have over public
Money.
officers within a ministry?
Money.
So then we're saying so
You
can
approve my invoice and then you go to my
Benefits.
store and you get what? You get to pick a few things. It is a
Benefits.
corrupt system. It's a corrupt system.
no,
We have to agree with
no. I was a public officer. I will
And
not
so
allow you
you're
to tell
saying
me.
it's not a
You,
corrupt
I will
system?
not allow you to tell me that the system is corrupt. You have corrupted individuals
Okay.
within a system.
You're right. You're right.
The system is not corrupt. I will not allow you to tell me
Okay,
that,
I agree.
that my mother.
Mr. Lam, I want to support you on that.
You're not telling me that my.
We are-
Can I say
we-
something, Joe?
We are
Joe, let me be very clear.
We are making some
Joe,
statements.
Joe, can I say something, please? I've had family members who have been in the public service from 1914 to present day. You will not tell me
Okay.
that they are corrupted or the system is corrupted. I was a
Oh, but
member of
you
public
tell us
service.
that they have never done anything corrupt. How can you say that?
I'm saying to you, you have corrupted people within a system
Yes.
that was
okay.
never designed to be corrupt. And the only way the system will work if we as Belizeans have the fortitude, have the ability to look wrongdoers in their eyes and say, you guys are wrong.
We need
Stop
to
it.
send some of them to jail. That's what we need to do.
Stop it. Stop talking system.
Okay,
You have
I
eight
agree.
or
But
nine,
we go
you
back
have
away from
8 or 9
that. The
individuals
system,
who dropped the ball, who should be home tomorrow.
yeah.
Put off it out.
So
Well,
you know,
I don't go declare saying drop the ball. I say those individuals are corrupt and they colluded and they should be found guilty and they should be put in jail. That's how I
Bring
say.
back the permanent secretary. Get rid of the
That could help
CEOs.
a little bit, but
Mr.
that's not the
Gentlemen,
answer at this
Mr.
point.
Chairman, can I come in and make some comparison quickly? When they were doing the review of the Constitution and they did the survey, they said that they only about 2 or 3% of the people knew the Constitution.
Yeah.
There was something that Mr. Lam had picked up, which I maybe would have been good for you to share, Lennox, with what the union had done. They did the similar survey in the public sector when it comes to oversight of the public sector. And you know what they find? It's only about 5% of the people understand the public sector when it comes to the oversight and internal controls. And I'm saying that, and you know why I'm saying it? Don't feel in any way not knowing it. Because over 90% don't know it.
Yeah.
So what they are citing, you see, you have two kinds of corruption. You have what you call the corruption of the hand in the tiller, where you actually bribe people. You violate laws, you do this, you do that. He said, but you know what is the worst corruption? He said, those who are indifferent.
Yeah.
I would have hoped, quite frankly, that having a person who did the research of oversight in the public sector, that we could spend more time knowing exactly what laws were violated, what went wrong. And hopefully, that at the end of the day, not at the necessarily end of the show, we can leave those people who, at 98%, who do not know oversight of the public sector, who some of them who don't know it comes out and make, if they are POPs, they accuse the UDPs. If they are UDPs, they come with a lot of irrational accusations against this one, that one. All I was hoping for, that having Mr. Lam after doing the research, is that we would all benefit from the research to know what is in fact the laws and to what extent the laws are not being complied with. And that is what will help the listeners and all of us.
Yeah.
Joe, you know what's frightening? Guys, I want to share this with you. I was actually in Belmopan yesterday when I started to think about this, right? I visited 3 separate ministries. And I went to the finance department in all these ministries. I asked them for a copy of the regulation, the Finance and Audit Act, the Stores and Finance Rules. Do you guys know? Nobody in none of those departments was able to give me a copy of that document. You know what was even more frightening? You had a large number of the staff who never saw those documents before. These are public officers, you know, who are expected to be executing these duties, who are being paid to execute these duties. And they don't even read the rules. They don't even have access to the rules and know what they should be doing.
But let me answer that a little bit. There is a sort of apathy in our system that doesn't encourage people to know their responsibility in the work, particularly in our governance. And I think that is an intentional.
Can you repeat that? Can you repeat that for me?
I said there is a definite apparent action that seems to allow people within government and within these organizations to not know the rules, and it is intentional because they do not want people to hold them accountable. So there is this sort of apathy that spreads, that, oh, just go and do this, and but not know exactly what you're supposed to. There's not, because these rules supposed to be taught to them. Let me finish. Don't put your hand up. These rules are supposed to be taught to them by their upper management. If I'm an engineer and I have a boss, he gives me what the rules are and what the guidelines of this company is, and that is available on a website that I am responsible to know those rules. In our system of governance, that seems to have been neglected. We do not have a way that people below are being taught and are required to follow through with what the requirements are of their job and their ministry.
All
That is
right.
the
Mr.
Wrap,
Morrison,
Can I
wrap
ask
it
a
up. Wrap it
question?
up.
Can I
could
ask a
I,
question?
Mr. Lam,
When you apply for a job, you get your
yes,
job description,
yes.
you get accepted, you send your bank account. Do you as an individual, especially as a public officer, do you appreciate the fact that you have a responsibility to the society, to the country, and to that paycheck to learn your job, to execute your duties of it? That's not a systematic problem. Those are individuals.
I
It's not,
disagree. I
it's
Those
not
are
disagree.
a social.
individuals
May I say
who have
something?
no. J-Mac, let me say something.
Yeah.
If you do not take the responsibility as a public officer to know your job, to know your duties, so that you can execute it effectively, you're no
So, yeah.
worse than the politician that
I
you claim is corrupted.
Here's the thing. Why is there a hierarchy? Don't you have somebody in charge? If I am the manager in a department, I'm going to ensure that we have regular meetings, that my people know these rules and regulations in place and
Yes.
make sure they're doing it. Somebody, you can't send 9 people home. You send the person who was in charge that should have been directly involved in making sure that those people know what they were doing and did what they were doing. And the
Mr.
person at the top of that is the minister, or we don't
Mr.
need a
Mr.
minister.
Chairman, Mr. Chairman,
I have a question when you guys are done.
Chairman and Mr. Morrison, you are making a serious mistake because you are ignorant of the public sector. Let me correct you. To get into the public sector first, you have to sit an exam with and call general orders and store
Thank you
orders.
very much, Joe.
That's right.
We all
No,
know that.
For
We all
every,
know
for
that.
every
But-
appoint, for
but-
every
but-
appointment, for
but-
every
but-
promotion,
but-
guys,
you are
guys,
saying, you said just now,
they
that
have to do
nobody is
exams.
telling them these things. No.
All
Then
right.
after that exam, you have a promotional exam. I do lecture.
very
for
much.
promotion.
All right,
I
Joe.
do lecture-
Yeah, all right, thank you.
Hold on, I gotta finish. I do lecture
Yeah,
for
yeah, but-
promotional exam for public officers.
All
So they
right.
do have them.
All right, all right.
But they should
Jeremy,
know
you were trying to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. I would like your assumptions, or if you can explain to me of what happened here at the end of the day. But of the more than 600 invoices reviewed, the vast majority were reportedly kept below the $10,000 mark, the threshold above which stricter Treasury oversight normally applies. What would be their reason for doing that? Well, what are you? Why would they do that? Why would they have the majority of their invoice, even
All
though?
of them.
Huh?
All of them. All of
Yeah.
them.
What is the reason behind it? Why would you want to avoid stricter Treasury oversight?
So there is a
Jeremy,
$10,000.
Jeremy, good question.
Good question,
And I
Jeremy.
said that to Joe when we
And
spoke
that's the
about
one.
the paper, right?
Like, I will
When
give
we-
you a
when-
long to
when-
answer, but
when
I can
the-
answer
when-
the question too. But go ahead.
When the law,
I want
but
to
before I answer, Jeremy, before I answer you, I just want to wrap up on what we were said before and answer you. To your point, G. Mike and the gentleman, what Joe was saying, each of the persons responsible in the line those 6 minutes I talked about to get that position, we as citizens paid for them to do classes under the public service, and they had to sit exams. So they knew what were their responsibilities. And the system provides for that. You can't be promoted throughout the public service if you don't do classes and you don't take exams. So they have no excuse for what they did. Mr. Jeremy, to your question,
Yeah.
the spirit of the law provides for the intent. When you see, like what you said it's 600. What that tells you, Mr. Jeremy, that somebody or a group of persons intentionally went against the spirit of the law to ensure that those numbers kept under 10,000. So what will happen? Once the report is done, the Auditor General report is done, everything that we pointed out, tried to discuss, she will point out. The Director of Public Prosecution then has a responsibility to investigate whether or not it was malfeasance or nonfeasance, and then criminal. So, but based on that simple 600, it tells you that a group of individuals had an intent to breach that law. And the financial secretary said that much in his interview.
Okay, can I follow up? If
Yes,
Jules Vasquez never broke this story, would anything would have been done?
that is why I wrote the paper. That is why we're having this discussion. It's not Jules Vasquez's job to break the story. I said to you, the Auditor General
It is
Office,
the
the
job
Accountant
of the,
General,
it
the
is the
Internal
job,
Auditor. This,
and let me stop you there. It is the job of the news
can
department
I?
to inform the public when they have information that affects
I
the public
I
good.
totally agree. But before it got to the news,
Yes,
before it got to the news, the
Somebody
Auditor
else should have
General,
caught it.
the
Yeah.
Auditor General should have caught it. The
yes,
Accountant General Department,
yes,
the
yes,
Internal Auditor, the Stores Auditor, the Receiving Officer, the
yes,
Procurement Officer,
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
Finance, the
yeah,
we
yeah.
Financial
agree,
Officer,
we agree,
and the
we agree,
You
CEO
gave
should
us
have
that
caught
list
it.
already. You gave us that. Let me
we
ask you
agree
something.
Those
completely.
Let me
those
ask
are
a,
the people who should have caught it,
let me
not
ask
you.
a let me ask a pertinent question.
Mr. Chairman, before you go, I just want to pick his mind on one little thing before you go. He said it's the spirit of the law that was violated. I believe it was the letter of the law that was violated, not the spirit. They broke the law by bringing all those bills under $10,000.
But that $10,000 again, we heard earlier them say there is no 10,000. Though Jeremy says that that $10,000 is a ceiling above which there's more scrutiny.
There's more
I could
scrutiny
so
above that.
obviously
Yes.
there's a $10,000 somewhere limit.
So why
Let,
would you not want
Mr.
scrutiny?
Chairman,
That's the
right.
can you
question.
allow me, can you allow me to
Now
explain?
let me ask one question. I want to ask one very important question. Had they not gone and messed with Alberto August, would this have come out? And
No,
does that make Alberto August some type of sacred cow?
No, no, G Mike. And quick and fast, no.
No what? No,
No,
it would
he's
not.
not a sacred cow.
Would it have
And
come out? Had they not messed with him?
let me ask you a question. Don't you, as a Belizean citizen and a taxpayer, feel the bite and the pain of misuse of funds?
After what?
Of the bite and the pain of misuse of
of course
public funds?
We all have to suffer. We all suffer from it.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
then, that is the purpose of the research and the article.
All right.
No, we're
We
not
Yes.
talking about your article. We're
this
not talking
this
about
one
your
second,
article.
guys. This has been happening over and over and over and over.
But
And
it
if
has
we
not
and
been coming out over and
big,
over and
no,
over
no, we
again.
don't want it to come out. We want it to be stopped. And
Ah, it
unless
can't stop unless it come out, Lennox. It's
no,
a deal.
it will not be stopped unless the DPP, the Public Service
Uh-huh.
Commission,
Yes.
start firing and punishing
All
public
right.
officers
All right.
for not
All
doing
right.
their duties.
Can
Then
you
it will
an-
stop.
can you
And
can
how
you
about the
answer
report for corruption?
can you answer the pertinent question?
Yes.
Why did this only come out? Because the timing of it kind of interests me. I'm not saying that it is, but
Well, it's
is it that
possible.
because they went after Alberto August that they decided to release this and Jules himself went so viciously after it? Could there have been some connection there?
Let me see what I understand that happened on why it came out. I understand that Saldiva, the former minister, asked people within the government to release whatever information they had on Mira.
I
That's
wasn't aware of that.
yes.
Did you guys
That,
know that? Did you know that, Joe?
No, I didn't know
that,
that.
that's
Yeah.
what I was told. That's what I was told. I don't know. I
I
don't. I'm just telling you what I was told. And
No,
then from that, people release those information. So
I heard.
and because of the incident with August, because August is his friend and he's a stalwart of the United Democratic Party, and that was the proclamation I understand that generated this
I
energy for this
You are
release.
100% right. I heard the same thing, but that does not negate what happened. We have a problem.
But no one's trying to negate it, Lennox. You can't hurling kind of thing because they're not relevant to the discussion we're having.
It is relevant, G-Mike.
How does Judge Saliba have that kind of authority still over all those people that you're talking about?
It's not about John. It's not about these people did nothing.
But he asked them to release what they did.
These people's job is not to leak anything to the media.
We know that. We discussed that at length.
These public officers' job is not to leak anything to the media.
We discussed it. We understand that. But how long will it take for you to say the same thing over and over?
Because the point cannot be lost, G-Mate. Their job is to protect the public's funds.
Okay.
Not to leak to the media.
But if something is happening, don't you think they ought to leak it and they ought to be a
they should have stopped it. They could have stopped it at invoice 5.
Mr. Lam, and Mr. Chairman,
at invoice 5. At invoice 5.
Mr. Lam and Mr. Chairman.
Can I say something before you finish?
What we are doing right now.
At invoice 5, it should have been stopped.
But what we are doing right now, we do not need to argue. We are speculating.
Don't use that term. The argument, we are arguing. We don't need to quarrel. We are arguing.
I will give you my opinion.
But go ahead.
I am saying that the chairman came up with a speculation regarding John Saldiva and August. No, nothing wrong with the speculation.
I didn't say anything about Saldiva. I knew nothing about Saldiva.
No, he didn't say it. I said that. And
all right, who said that? I am not saying anything is wrong with the speculation. For me,
not a speculation. It was a statement made to me. I'm not speculating about it.
What statement was made to you, Mr.? What statement was made to you?
The statement I heard was that John Saldiva, after they arrested August, called for people within the department to bring out whatever dirt they had on Mr. Mira. And that's when the leakage started. That's what I'm saying. That's what I heard. And that's how I'm translating it.
And that's what Lennox affirmed. Can
I say something here?
One more thing, and then I'll shut up. I'm not saying that is the proper way to do it. I agree with Mr. Lamb that it should have been that all those people in line that was supposed to serve as the check and balances for our money failed us. And this was the method. And the person that leaked it may not have had the same authority to stop it. He may be a low person on the toll that just had access to the information and decided to break that
and the public service always fails us. It's always the press that
decided to break that trust of confidentiality that they so cloak around. So you could go ahead now, Mr. Crowley. Sorry.
I was trying to just come over to one point that nothing wrong in speculating what Mr. Saldiva may have done and whether this is what get him angry to get public officers to leak things out. No. Mr. Saldiva did make some very serious accusation against the minister, but he apologized. He made a public apology. You're aware of that?
Yes, he put it out in Facebook today.
That's right. He made a public apology that he was wrong for what he said. So therefore, that was, yes, he said that he was wrong for the things he said, and he apologized. No. Mr. Jeremy, let's come back to try to get facts and speculations and the laws and whatnot. That's the thing there about that 10,000. I am asking anyone who knows the laws to just refer me to the section of the 10,000. No, in the absence of anybody showing me, I don't find it.
Mr. Cole, we're not saying it's a necessary fix-up. We said it is a practice that the government have in place that whenever you go over 10,000, it triggers a level of scrutiny that they were trying to avoid. It may not be a written law, but it is somehow...
Mr. Morrison, I am saying to you categorically and factually what you are saying is not true. That's what I'm telling you.
Then why did the financial...
I am telling you, I spoke with the Auditor General and I spoke with the finance. It is not true what you are saying, man. That's what I'm trying to correct.
Why are they trying to stay below $10,000?
I'm trying to explain to you the 10,000, but you don't want to hear.
No, I want to hear it.
Find me in the law where there is a 10,000. No,
that's not explaining the 10,000. That's not explaining the 10,000, Joe.
I am going to explain
the 10,000.
I am going to explain, but
all right, we're waiting.
I am saying to you If it is in the law, then let's find it. No, we don't find it. So we have
We're
to
not saying it's
no.
the law. We're saying it's a threshold.
That's
Yeah.
right. No, if it
Nobody's
is a
saying it's the
threshold,
law.
Mr. I'll come back to Mr. Spooner. Mr. Spooner, you know what they did? All they did was to take an average. If you had 1.3 million and you had so many invoices, then divide it by this amount of invoices, and it
Yes.
became about 9,000. So
Yes.
what they're saying that it's not every invoice was below that. The average was below the 10.
No, all of them were below 10, Mr. Cowie.
All right, all of them were below 10. I don't
Yes.
argue with you.
Yes,
All
that
right,
is
it's
the fact.
only,
That is the
it's
fact.
only coincidental that when you divide
No,
it,
it's not coincidental, Mr. Cowie.
I took all of them and I divided them in.
You're saying that, but no.
I am saying to you that if all of them were below 10, everyone was below 10.
Yes, yes.
No, I am saying to you, if everyone was below 10, it means that even if I do the average, it will still come below 10. That's it.
But that's Mr. Cowie, you're colluding a lot of stuff.
I am not colluding. I am trying to explain to you why they are not using no 10,000 for what you are saying. That
yes,
because
they are, Mr. Cowie.
no, it is not that.
If you don't
Jeremy,
know,
where did you get that information?
No, if you don't know,
Somebody sent it to me.
The largest section that is with it.
Let me tell you something. The facts of it.
And stop this things that are not true.
No, let me tell you the facts of it. The invoices were below 10,000. There were some invoices that was submitted at some point for 18,000. They pulled them back the same day and split them in two. And these invoices were submitted over an extended period of time. So it's not like they went and divide all of them into 65,000, into 9,000. It was a practice over many years.
You will be to tell me that you believe that, then something seriously wrong. You want to tell me? You want to tell me that all public officers at the Treasury and wherever they are have been told that when it's below 10,000, ignore it. That's not true. That is
nobody said that.
I am saying to you, I read it, and what they are saying is not what happened. That because it's under, they don't bother with it.
Hold on, no, nobody said that. Nobody said
that. That's what they were saying.
No, here's what it said. If it's over, well, can you listen, man? If it's over 10,000, it raises a flag. They say, well, something must be wrong here, so it gets more scrutiny. It makes a lot of sense to me. I'm hoping it is true.
Joe,
I am telling you, Mr.
Joe, can I say something? Joe and G Mike, what Joe is saying, guys, every single purchase, every single invoice that goes through our accounting and finance system within a department should be scrutinized by the officers that deals with it.
Regardless
it doesn't require. Can I finish? It doesn't require them to close their eyes to anything below 10,000.
Exactly.
Every single invoice, every single. Can I finish? Yes. Every single purchase, every single payment requires a level of scrutiny by these people that are being paid by taxpayers. That's what Joy's trying to say.
That's right.
Don't miss the point, guys.
Can I read something from Mr.
It would be highly stupid of you to have a business to tell them that, listen, when it's below a certain amount, you don't have to screw. Every invoice, everyone. I am saying to you that every invoice about $1,000 has to be scrutinized.
Can I read what Mr. AI said? Can I read what Mr. AI said?
Yes.
He said the 10,000 threshold in Belize procurement system is a key indicator of the level of scrutiny applied to government contracts. Payments below this threshold are considered discretionary spending within the ministries and can be processed internally without further approval. Conversely, payments exceeding this threshold are subject to higher approval levels, ensuring a more rigorous review processing by the Ministry of Finance and Treasury Department. This threshold is crucial for maintaining accountability and transparency in government spending.
Exactly. That's exactly what
it is. Exactly.
Jeremy, that's what we're Jeremy.
You've been denying that all night.
G-Mike, what we're saying, every single, what that is saying, that over 10,000, Treasury audit has to look at it. The The procurement team has to look at it. But what I'm saying to you guys is, anything, any payment, any purchase, any transaction that takes place where government funds are being given to any individual,
Okay.
you have members who are public officers that has to do their
Okay.
due diligence on those processes.
And
But
we
you
said
are
that all
admitting
night.
that
We said that all
over,
night.
hold on.
Okay.
You are admitting that over $10,000 there's extra scrutiny. And
So,
twelve
so can
thousand.
I ask one thing? Did the supplier on his own make those invoices knowing that system under $10,000, or did the public servant suggested to him to do it this way and was in
I-
cahoots with the supplier?
question.
Mr. Spooners, Mr. Spooners, I hope that didn't happen.
I hope so too.
I hope he wasn't told to do it that way so I could get a kickback.
Yeah, I
I
hope so
pray and hope
too.
that didn't happen.
But they planted this by doing that. They planted the seed of us of distrust now.
May I ask you a
It always
question?
happens in government.
May I ask a question? How often do you think this happens? Was it a one-off thing, or does this happen a lot?
Thousands of times. Thousands of times.
I mean, not outside of this incident involving Mira, and I
Oh,
know
I'm
that
sure,
that
I'm sure it happened a lot. I'm sure it's a
You
broken
know something,
system.
Mr. Chairman? I want to come in one more time, and if you want, I could leave. You know why? I'm reading the law right now, just to again tell you. Do not take your 10,000 as if though it is the law. It is not the law.
We're not saying
nobody
it's
said that, Joe. No wait. Nobody said that. Hold on for what? Hold on for what? You're saying something that's not
I am
making
saying
sense.
to you, I am saying to you now,
Yes.
if we know why is it that you could use 10,000 today, next year you could use
We said that.
8,000, you could use anything you want, any figure.
We said it
What?
triggered a higher level of scrutiny, and
But
that's what we have been saying all evening.
Yes, and you
I am
heard
not
what.
saying-
But no, hold on, Joe. You heard what Jeremy read, and you said exactly. You
Yes.
agreed.
Yes.
So what's
I
the
agree.
contention? What's the
I
problem?
Aye.
Aye.
I am saying to you,
Uh.
everything by law in the beginning should
Should be
go for
scrutinized.
no, should go for tender. That's how you
Yeah.
begin.
Okay,
And they give you the three different tenders that you could go through.
right.
The open tender, the selective
Yeah,
tender,
yeah,
and the
you're
limited
repeating
tender.
yourself, though. Go ahead.
Then, at the end, he makes some exceptions where you will use your discretion, and these are the words he used. He said to purchase goods and services needed for the day-to-day operations of the government. What it means by that now, you want to use your discretion. That
Okay.
if you need anything every day,
Okay.
and our small amount, it could be
If
on
there were
top.
broom or some pens and things for the
Right,
people.
you know
yes.
what? You know, tender, because by the
I
time
understand that. We understand that.
that's what the tender with the law, they said the law.
But yeah,
No.
we know that.
The
No,
issue
that's
of this
not
10,000
contradicting
when
it.
the doctor wrong. I like to try get you to get away from it and lost. The reason why you could use it any day or why you could change it.
But we
Our
see
policy-
Mr. Corey,
our
Mr. Corey, let me ask you a
internal policy
question.
directive
Mr.
given
Corey, let me ask you a
challenge.
question. Mr. Corey, let me ask you a simple question. Do you
Yes, ma'am.
think from what you have learned of that process and what was done, I don't know if you have seen any of the news and any of the vouchers that was presented, do you believe there was an abuse of the system to some degree in the way these goods were procured or paid
Mr.
for? Not procured, paid for.
Mr.
We don't know
Morrison,
what. Yes.
Mr. Morrison,
Uh-huh.
from what I see there, that is evidently wrong.
Okay.
I personally was, as an
That's it.
auditor, hold on. As an auditor, I would say it is wrong. No. We need to find out now who all were involved and how they arrived at it.
Well,
He did.
Lennox gave us that list, no?
No. What happened? Remember this?
But he escaped the minister. He
The
did not.
minister. No, it doesn't leave out the minister. It does
Yes,
not.
he did. He did not drop the minister in that list of 7 people that he
In
had.
fact, he was specific that the minister should not be involved.
Yeah, he did not include the minister. He put the minister on some throne somewhere that he's a politician. And
I don't want to- guys, listen to me. Don't speak. Listen to me.
All right, they force me to deal with the law. I can read the law.
Joe, let me.
Hold on. He said, without prejudice to the subsection 1 above, every person who contravenes and knowingly permits or suffers any other person to contravene or instigate any person to contravene any provision of this or any, and it go on and on. including the minister. Everybody.
Joe, Joe, let me Joe.
It's not a deal with the federal then at this finance and that. Everybody.
Guys, Joe, let me just read to them the reason why I did what I did. Let me read what is the legal duty of a minister within a ministry. Legal. So let me explain. He gives policy direction. He has political responsibility for the ministry. Must avoid conflict of interest to protect public trust. Can I finish? In this specific case, a minister family or a chosen associate that benefit from ministry business without clear disclosure, recusal, or transparency. That's all he had to do. No, if he did, and he did it, he said it on TV. I never know. I was not a part of it. The only thing he didn't say. Let me finish, please.
Of course, in a God, we have to believe what he said.
Joe, let me finish.
Like you said,
the only thing he did not do legally was to say he recused himself. Guys, what I'm saying to you is this. I watch the news every night.
Me too.
The house burned down, the plywood house burned down, the fire truck end up there with no water. We blame the fireman. The mansion burned down and 2 blocks burned down and no water to get there. We blame the fireman. All I'm explaining to you guys is this. The people who man the fire truck of the public funds are the fireman. At no point in time have we heard when you have a fire, when no water not there, the pump no happen, people they blame the minister. We blame the fireman and the fire department.
We know the minister did not approve these bills. We know he wasn't.
So all I'm asking you guys for this to stop.
You're saying
for this to stop.
Consistent.
For this, what I'm saying, for this to stop, we need to blame the fireman. For the crime to stop, the police have to do its job. For corruption within public offices to stop.
The police are the criminals.
It's not as simple as that.
So why can't we say the public officers are criminals?
It's not as simple as that. Nobody's excusing the public officers.
Because we're scared.
You are trying to excuse.
Because we're scared of the public service union and the political effect that they have.
How do you come to that conclusion?
No. What nonsense. What utter nonsense.
No, you know though, I'll tell you, I know, because we run out of time. The fact of the matter is, and I agree with you, that these discussions that we have, they're not just for sitting up here and talk, but hopefully we can flesh things out and get a better understanding of what's going on and inform people as to how things are happening and should be happening. Again, there are two different things. One is how it ought to be and how it is. We know how it is. We know it ought to be, and it's not how it ought to be. It is what it is. Now, how are we going to correct this? And we sit over here and discuss it, but sometimes we act like that old Belize band. We could play a good tune till the end and know how to end. Many times we're making a point, but we can't finish and we go on and on with addendum and nobody else gets a chance to even get in. If we just make the point and make we move on and see how we could discuss that point. The point of the matter here is that something was done wrong, obviously, and we all, I think, agree with that. Now, you were saying, Lennox, there are 9 people, and you list 9 down the line, but you're saying that the minister is not the one that would be held culpable, but the minister is the head of every department. The minister and the man that top, who are you going to hold responsible?
Yeah. All right, Mr. Chairman, can I come back in now? Can I come back in now and deal with the law? Again, Mr. Lam read you something at length. Now, that is not the law he read you. But what he's reading there is that the law, the Constitution, if you read it, it gives the minister direction and control over all the departments under his portfolio. Direction and control. That's what he gives.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, what is direction and control? What Mr. Lam did, he read from you from political science, because in parliamentary system especially, what it means by the direction and control. But the Constitution gives him direction and control. Now, when a minister is giving direction and control, he has responsibility. He's responsible for anything that happening in a ministry.
Exactly.
If there is collusion, if there is evasion, if there is corruption, he's responsible for
The
it.
buck stops there.
But he's not guilty of it.
Yes, agree. He may not
So
be
all
guilty.
I'm saying to you all, the minister cannot be above the law. If he violates this law, if he gives a directive, and it's right in the Finance and Health Reform Act,
Yes.
and he gives a directive in writing to the public officers, which he can do.
It doesn't
the
have to
public
be
op-
in writing, Mr.
How is it? How is it verbal?
Mr. Morrison, please, I beg you, stop this something. I am
No.
telling you, the law requires that once he's doing something like that, he have to give it in writing to the public officer.
So if the
Hold on, man, I can finish with the
Let
law.
me ask you a question. Don't get hasty with me. If he is, let's just say a minister is asking contract with my family. My cousin will get these contracts. Do you think he's going to give that direction in writing? When the No, because you say you have to give direction.
No, man, because you know they understand the law.
There's
He
legal.
cannot-
There's
The
legal.
minister cannot give a public officer a directive to do something contrary to the law. He can only direct you to do things
So
within the law.
if that's the case, our system is perfect. This
Yeah,
cannot
that is
going to
nonsense,
use.
man.
No, why is it that they make it such that when he has the authority? Remember now, when you give the
Mr. Cohen,
authority,
let me ask you one simple question that will reveal where ministers. I've seen and I've heard people in ministry or government give direction to give people certain amount of money at election time. Are you telling me they can't give direction? It is illegal and they do it. And I've seen it and I've
Mr.
been
Morrison,
present.
can I finish with what I'm saying? The
No,
minister,
I'm
hold on.
telling you where there's a shortcoming in what your premise is.
I'm going to explain to you if you allow me to.
Okay.
The person under the law that has the authority, he can delegate the authority, but he cannot delegate the responsibility. You all know that, right? No. When I say that, you can delegate somebody to do something, but the responsibility remains with you. That's a fact in the law.
I'm not excusing
No.
that.
So when you tell you the minister delegates, the minister cannot delegate you to do stupidness and violate the law.
Should
So what the law is doing, he can delegate you to do something, but the
Should not.
minister remains responsible.
I'm
And that's
telling
not,
you,
no,
Mr.
hold on.
Cohen, Mr.
Why
Cohen,
public officers are required? Public officers are required, and this come out of the Nuremberg trial, that whenever they are giving you the directive, which the law allow them to do, they must give it to you in writing, so that the public officer can exonerate himself if he did something.
And of course, we know that.
And that is why they made it in law, and it is in our laws, just as it came out of the Nuremberg trials.
But
When they were trying to defend themselves.
you lean upon the law as if it cannot be violated. You know how many times laws are violated, and every single day.
I never said the law cannot be violated.
Yeah, because the way you put it, oh, this is the law, and it cannot, and it
No,
cannot.
I am
Yes,
saying
they
to you,
can.
I am saying to you, Mr. Chairman,
And I'm saying to you,
you cannot contract outside the law. If you do it, it is wrong. You don't mean you can't do it, you do it, but it's wrong.
well, exactly.
Everybody agree. That's the
What I'm
agreement.
saying to you, the minister delegates authority.
You have arrived at the point. They do it, and it is wrong. That's
right.
the point we're all making.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's simply.
That's
It's,
it.
but you
That's it.
cannot say they
Simple
cannot
as that.
do it.
Simple as that.
That's
Hey,
it.
it's really
That's it.
simple.
You have arrived at it. You have
What
arrived
is
at it. Thank you.
What is simple? What is simple?
It's too simple that we can't
What is
understand it.
simple?
It is simple that it's not that they cannot, but they should not, and if they do it, it's wrong.
Yes.
Because
But
by
they do.
law, they should not do it. But
But they do.
if they do it, it is wrong.
Right.
That ain't that's simple. Now, Lennox, thank you for nearly out of time. What did we miss? Is there any key point that you think we should have covered that we did not cover in this discussion?
G-Bag, I think we missed a lot. We missed a lot.
Okay.
And I have to be very honest, and I'm a little bit disappointed that we could not delve deeply into what are all the roles of these people? Because just like the ministers have responsibilities, as a podcast, as a media host, we have an obligation to give knowledge, if not propaganda, with a push. And I think if we were able to look at what were each responsibility of each person, it would have allowed the listeners to appreciate why when I say the public officers, they appreciate what their duties are. It's paramount for the success and the proper functioning of the society for us to know what the roles of the people are. You go to hospital, you know the role of the nurse, the orderly, the cleaner, the doctor, the surgeon. In the administration of functions of the government, we have no true clue on what the clerks do, what the accounting are, and it allows them, and then the ones who don't know, it allows them to get off the hook. And sadly enough, and I'll say this to you guys, it takes an average junior minister about 2 years to appreciate his system to even decide to become corrupt. But but his senior public officers, they stay corrupt throughout their 30 years because they know the system. And I'll leave you with this, G Mike. In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. So we can continue to operate blind and allow the one-eyed men to take over.
Mr. Lamb, where can I get that information about the jobs of those 9 people you mentioned? How the system would work?
I wrote a piece. I gave it to Joy. It was just I was bored when I was studying, and I did a degree in government. So I was able. But Joe, I'll have Joe forward it to you. I had asked him to give you guys it before the show. I don't think he was able to get it to you guys, so you
Yeah, I
can
got it
see.
also. I think I got it to the chairman and to
I did. I looked at it. And you know what? In an ideal world, those people hired would do what they're supposed to
But it's
do.
not G Mike
That,
with
that is correct. But
G Mike,
may I finish a point? May I finish a point at some point?
G Mike, it's not an ideal world. Lennox Lam, the taxpayer, Mr. Spoon as the taxpayer, Joe the taxpayer, the next man as the taxpayer. We give real money via our taxes to pay individuals to do their job. It's not we're not giving away our money. It's an ideal world when I pay you to do a duty.
That's why I know you took exception when I said we had a corrupt system, and I backed off from that term. But
we're paying people.
Let me finish. We have corruption in our lands department, in our postal department, lands department, in our immigration department, in our passport, in our
all the department. Let's say just all the departments.
Yeah. Everyone, we have seen shadows of deep corruption, and it's infested in all these. The prime minister called the lands the most corrupt place there is.
You make my Bali Trump look like a saint, man. Ras Billy's good.
Bali Trump could never look like a saint.
But seriously, so I think it is systemic. It is not the system. The system itself is operated by humans that are corrupt and have corrupted the system. But we need to fix that. We need to fix that, and we need to hold all our civil servants accountable, and we need to make sure that they get prosecuted so that they are where the buck stops.
And we set an example. Yeah.
I tell you, for me personally, at the end of the day, when a minister tell those public servants to do this, I want you to do it this way, they're not going to object. They're going to do it because they are fearful of losing their job and what other repercussions.
Spooners. The hard in any guys in any country, in any society, the hardest workers to fire are public servants. So they're not fearful. They are not. The hardest thing to do is to fire a public officer.
13% of our public servants today are not within the public service organization. They're hired by ministers. The ministers sent you over to the office and you get hired. They're not.
Mr. Morrison, and all these guys know this. Joe know this. The hardest job we have. We are steps away from devaluation, the economy crashing, because we have to find the money to pay public officers.
Yes.
We have a large bill that we have to cover every year for people who do not do what they're supposed to do.
Yes, yes. You
and
know
because they have now become a political party and a political pressure group, we think we should ponder today. We don't hold them responsible.
Lennox, you said earlier that we missed a lot, and you know why? Because we spent too much time sprouting the obvious. Many of these things we know, we understand this. We're trying to figure out how we can get it to work the way it's supposed to work. We know public officers are to do what they're not doing. We know that they ought not to be corrupt. We know that the minister should not be able to do what he does, but it happens. How now do we fix it?
Mr. Chairman, I think that there is a way that we have to begin if we want to fix it. One, you have two types of what we call people paid by the public purse, what we call public officers. Generally speaking, the public officers who are permanent public officers are different from those who are unlimited contracts. Now, what is happening in the public sector? The numbers that are unlimited contracts, which we used to call open vote, they are large numbers now and they are politically appointed.
And
if you have 20,000 now getting paid from the public purse, and if 12,000 of them happen to be the permanent, and 12,000 is limited, those are the 12,000 are politically appointed.
Where do CEOs fit in that?
They are politically appointed.
All right, thing done.
Permanent secretaries were not.
That thing's done. All right, listen to me. Guys, we're out of time. We're over time, and we don't want the producer barging my way and get upset.
I enjoyed tonight. I'd
like for you guys, Lam, we have to get you back, please, again. All right? Come back and make we discuss them and cover some of the things that we missed without keeping to state the obvious.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I learned a little something myself. I'm despondent because that 10,000 may sound good to me, but Jeremy, you explained it, and yes, by principle it's there, not by the letter of the law, but by the spirit of the law. Guys, see why we're done here.
All right, good night, everybody, and Turkey to beat.
Good night.
Good night.
What I'ma tell you is something you should all know. How it's all unforgettable. How it's so unforgettable. I think you all should know. What I'ma tell you is something you should all know. How it's all unforgettable. How it's so unforgettable. I think you all should know. Time and time again, as I pick up that pen, as I hit these curves, all the ghouls heads turn. Who's a conspiracy? How many going to burn? Pacifies like a Baptist, but the water burn. Trials, tribulation, turn a soft cheek, but I stay in my position, watching them all freak. Outside when I be out on the beach in Miami-Dade County, when I roam on these New York streets. First take like Stephen A. Smith. Swag and perk, the podcast is on, I don't miss. Blunt in the air, cause you know it's all scheming out there when I put it in the air. Sketch, this is not grafted, it's not pornographic. It's transparent to what you're imagining. Side box the raw mode, children for Rizzle. Red dot, we came to bend the dial a little. So check your clock, non-stop. We drag racing, all the way to the finish stop. Free new banging it, Empire came back. Watch how we banging. What I'ma tell you is something you should all know. How it's all unforgettable. How it's so unforgettable. I think you all should know. What I'ma tell you is something you should all know. How it's all unforgettable. How it's so unforgettable. I think you all should know. So many lame, who's to blame? But we all can't, cause I came back like I mail out a stamp, cotton to the mouth. We wear all dog bark, cause when I come out, It's more to spark in the dark. Where you at, stay your lane. Respect that imaginary blind. It's not a game. I might blow your brain, but I'd rather put it down. Surface and rise like the sun. It's set like the sun. So it's all said and done. This is real life. So don't kneel to the pill. We out. This ain't no matrix fix. Counterfeit, something that ain't real. It's all fixed like the money in my wallet don't fit. So they Bitcoin and now they microchip. AI to the flip, credit cards and dip. Cause I try to take a trip on my wallet and flip. Everybody trying to do is something move like this. What I'ma tell you is something you should all know. How it's all unforgettable.
You have gold mine, you have silver mine, and then you have bad mine. Reaching out, all of them bad-minded people. Yes! You could take them from out of Belize, but then you can't take Belize out of them. You left the rattle, free minded cheese. When you come back, you know that gone, me friend. You could take them from out of Belize, but then you can't take Belize out of them. And if you left the rattle, free minded cheese. When you come back, you know that gone, me friend. Country council, where they can't eat they spoil. Come like you compass, wicked and wild. See why they are so well first. Watch it, but they can't come my style. Someone got a sister, color just a one day prayer. Look on color, yeah, Papa John said, yeah, mosquito eat.
Pit Wolf Entertainment. We here. You know where you're from. Jamaica, Queens. This is how we rock. Yo, it's been a long time since I rocked the mic. Now I'm back making tracks like a ninja bite. I've been upstate, got big, so the girls call me a yes, being girls like an open book. Okay, rabbit, get out and push, you know, getting whole sex to make my girlie touch. Vinegar water's my order, transporter, new world order, sons and daughters. I got a new rider, it's like a gold rush when the vibes bust. I got a new rider, it's like a gold rush when the vibes bust. I got a new rider, it's like a gold rush when the vibes bust. I got a new rider, it's like a gold rush when the vibes bust. The wolf from Queens, you know what I mean. Kokomo Index, we know 119. Across the street is my man, Getaway Car G. He had a thing for Hot Wheels, hot brakes. But tonight I give you all everything. The biggest hit of the year, and millions is what it brings. Man, it's packing up the Texas to crib. Before they fire at the red, I hit him a done, I only have a life to live. My community moving forward, lots of fears helping me like Tyson does it. Rock, yeah, sons, where I'm from, Southside, I do it down. The only song survived the biggest crime is homicide. I got a new rider, it's like a gold rush when the vibe